Let's get into the details now. Discipline, fairness, integrity. That's the charge by President Akufo-Addo to Justice Sophia Akuffo, who is named today as the new Chief Justice of the Republic of Ghana. She'll take over from Chief Justice Georgina Theodora-Wood, who retires next month. Here's President Akufo-Addo making the announcement a while ago.
I have known Justice Sophia Akuffo well for over 40 years. Indeed, she was my first junior in practice, as barristers call their work. She impressed me considerably with her hard work, her capacity for detailed research, her independence of mind and spirit, her honesty and integrity, her deep-seated respect for the rule of law, and her abiding belief in the sovereignty of Almighty God. I believe these are the qualities which sustained her brilliant career as a lawyer that propelled her to the notice of the first president of the Fourth Republic, His Excellency Jerry John Rawlings, who appointed her to the Supreme Court on 30th November 1995, some 22 years ago. She has been one of the leading lights of the court since her appointment, and her contribution to the court's work and the growth of our nation's jurisprudence has been extensive. She has enriched her judicial experience by serving with credit on continental judicial bodies such as the African Court on Human and People's Rights, where she ended up as president of the court. I have no doubt that Justice Sophia Akuffo will be a worthy successor to Chief Justice Wood and uphold jealously the independence of the judiciary. I expect discipline, fairness, integrity, and the continuing modernization of judicial activities to be the hallmarks of her tenure as Chief Justice, if she is so endorsed by the constitutional bodies.
President Akufo-Addo there on his latest appointment. So who is she? Let's take a look at her background. Well, the president at the ceremony also has some nice words which we'll go through much later, but Justice Sophia Akuffo has served at the Supreme Court for 20 years. She has a master's degree in law, that's LLM, from the Harvard University in the United States of America. Of the governing committee of the Commonwealth, the Judicial Education Institute, and chairperson of the Alternative Dispute Resolution Task Force. Justice Akuffo was also elected one of the first judges of the African Court on Human and People's Rights in January 2006 and was re-elected until 2014 when she served as the vice president. She is the immediate past president of the court. And she is on the disciplinary committee of the General Legal Council and has held membership of many organizations. Just as a quick one there about Justice, the new Chief Justice, should she be passed by Parliament, Justice Sophia Akuffo. The President, like I said at the ceremony earlier, has some very nice words for Chief Justice Georgina Theodora-Wood, who leaves office after 10 years as Chief Justice and a total career in the legal profession spanning over 40 years.
In 3.5 weeks' time, on 8th June this year to be precise, a remarkable chapter in Ghana's legal and judicial history will come to a close. On that day, Her Lordship the Chief Justice, Georgina Theodora-Wood, will step down from office into retirement. The 12th occupant of that office in independent Ghana, she is the first female to head the judiciary and its longest serving leader, who will have been in office for 3 days, short of 10 years. Her career has been extraordinary, and I pay warm tribute to her distinguished service to our nation and wish her a well-earned retirement, even though her public service will not be over, as her place on the Council of State awaits her.
The appointment is, however, subject to parliamentary approval. So how will this process be like before Justice Sophia Akuffo is fully confirmed? I'm joined on the line by my colleague Elton Brobe. Elton is our presidential affairs correspondent, but he's also a former parliamentary correspondent and knows very well about the processes in Parliament. Hello, Elton.
Yes, yes, yes.
Elton, now that the president has announced his nomination, tell us what next for Justice Sophia Akuffo in Parliament.
Well, what we know is that Parliament will reconvene on the 30th of May. The President will have to now forward a letter to the Speaker of Parliament informing him and the House of his nomination for the position of Chief Justice of the Republic of Ghana. That once the Speaker is given that notification, he will inform members of Parliament and direct that the communication be given to members of the appointment committee to start work on it. The process is that the appointment committee will then have to now advertise the nominee and then ask the public to respond in writing if they have any issue about the nominee that they want, Parliament highlight issues that, they talk about the fact that she may not be suitable for the job that she will be nominated for. And they will have one week within which they can forward such memorandum. Now, when that is done, the committee will sit in a public hearing to vet the nominee. The vetting process usually is done to establish or determine the suitability of this nominee in question. It's just like with any ministerial nominee, once they are done, they will have to now present their report to Parliament. And then the whole House will debate the report and come to a decision on it. It will be whether to accept the recommendation of the appointment committee or reject it. If the recommendation is that the House accepts the nomination of the person in the question, then they will have to vote on it. Once that is accepted by Parliament as a whole, then that's it. The nominee is approved. She will then come back to the Flagstaff for the swearing-in ceremony so that she can begin her work as the Chief Justice of the Republic of Ghana. So it is so, just like with any minister or deputy minister or any person whose office demands parliamentary influence, you have to go through that process.
If there should be any possibility of a rejection in Parliament, what would that be?
Well, there are rules regarding the rules under which one can be rejected. I mean, if you pass a tax bill, there are basic things that one must meet for the appointment committee to come to a decision on that person. National service statutes, filing of tax returns, whether you owe allegiance to other countries apart from that. These are basic rules that they would have to, the nominee must conform to. Beyond that, it is just the Q&A that they have to take the nominee to, and I'm just to come across a situation where the appointment committee recommendation calls on the House to reject a particular nominee that they vetted. And the way I see it, it is likely to be an exercise that may result in the House or in the appointment committee recommending to the House to approve of the nominee.
Elton, has there been any instance where a CJ nominee has been rejected by the appointment committee? Already there seems to be growing brouhaha over the appointment. Give us a bit of a background if there has been any such thing in Parliament.
Well, going by the records, there's never been such an instance, and I don't, unless there are issues that may prevent the House from approving or recommending the House to approve of this particular nominee. But going by the records available to Parliament of Ghana, there's never been a situation where a CJ nominee has been, recommended for disapproval by the House of Parliament.
All right. Thank you very much, Elton. Elton Brobe is our parliamentary affairs, is our presidential affairs correspondent, but he's a former parliament correspondent, is bringing us that detail there. Well, like I indicated before in my conversation with Elton, there have been growing concerns over that appointment. A governance lecturer at GIMPA, Dr. Lord Malco, says there's possible conflict of interest with the appointment. President Akufo-Addo was once boss of his CJ nominee. Dr. Malco joins me on the line for more on this. Hello, Doc. Thank you very much for your time here on the Pulse. But where are you drawing the conflict of interest situation in Justice Sophia Akuffo's appointment from?
Hello?
Yes, please go ahead.
Yes, can you hear me?
I hear you perfectly, sir. Go ahead.
Yes. First of all, let me say that there's no question about the qualification and competence of Justice Akufo that has been nominated.
Okay.
Yes, so that has to be made clear. It's not about her competence or qualification. But you know, there's something called the independence of the judiciary,
right,
which an ethical consideration when it comes to the performance in the context of our democratic governance system. So if there's any semblance of doubt about the ability of the person to perform in terms of the background in relation to the appointing agency, then that creates problem for conflict of interest. Now, we do know that Justice Akufo had worked with Nana Akufo-Addo under his tutelage, actually, as part of his legal career. And because of that alone, it raises a lot of doubts about whether she can be able to perform her duties independently as the Chief Justice of the Republic of Ghana. So I just think that, yes, she may be qualified and competent, but we cannot gloss over the fact that there's a relationship between them. And I was talking earlier to your reporter about the fact that, for example, if you take academics, if you're an academic, for example, you want to apply for promotion, you submit your academic papers, you cannot be evaluated by somebody that you don't work with. We're not talking about family relations. If I have an academic colleague, he cannot evaluate my academic papers for my promotion because they don't want a situation where it's undermining the integrity of the work I'm submitting. So, yes, similarly, if somebody has worked in the same chamber, and all of a sudden the person now that the Chief Justice and the other one is the President, we cannot overlook the potential for conflict of interest. And I think as a country that we want to consolidate our democratic system, we need to be having these discussions. If you still want to have a strict separation of powers, separation of powers doesn't necessarily mean having only in name only. It has to be seen in personnel also. So both the structures and personnel have to be separated. So that's the intention and for which purpose I was raising those issues.
Okay, so you are obviously not comfortable with this kind of arrangement. Now that she's already been announced and she's about to face Parliament, face the appointment committee, for further approval, what are your plans? What do you see could happen from the concerns that you have, based on the concerns that you have?
No. I mean, it's fine. She's been appointed by the president. I mean, let me also say that it's within the remit of the president to appoint whoever he wants to appoint to serve the country. That's his power. You can't take that away from him. But at the same time, as citizens and some of us as academics, it's our obligation to critical issues in order to elevate our national discourse. So it behoves the parliamentarians who are going to vet the appointment, to approve the appointment, to raise these issues. She needs to assure, this issue has to be raised for her to answer, given the background, given the professional relationship between she and the president, whether she can assure the Ghanaian people that she's going to accept their independence as required by the law. So that's all we can do at this point.
Well, you speak about assurance, so it boils down to assurances. If it's about assurance, anybody can just say, yes, I can assure you.
But I think assurance also speaks to the issue of integrity. You know, when you appear before a parliamentary committee under oath, it happens in all jurisdictions. In America, even a few days ago, when the acting director appeared, they asked him if he can assure the Congress that he will not have any interference from the White House. And he gave them, his word.
Okay.
So that counts for something, because you are saying that under oath. And therefore, if in future there should be any proof, any evidence that you answer. And sometimes some of these are moral issues. They are moral and ethical issues.
Right.
They may not be breaking any law, but you are breaking certain moral and ethical laws. And as a country that wants to strengthen democracy, we shouldn't be looking at it only on whether the person is right or wrong in terms of the law, but also looking at legal and ethical considerations that are very important.
I see. But just a quick one before I let you go, though. Have you followed Madam Akufo's developments through her legal career?
Of course. I mean, that's
can you point to any instance or any compelling reason why there could necessarily be a conflict of interest between once she is appointed, a conflict of interest, or has she done?
Not necessarily. She hasn't been Chief Justice before, so I cannot. I mean, she might have been on the performing at other levels, but this is the first time she's appointed Chief Justice. And we know that under our constitutional separation of powers, the Chief Justice occupies a very important point.
Okay.
So we cannot necessarily look at past performance in other positions to check, I mean, whether or not this appointment is credible or not. Those are different things. When you become the Chief Justice of the Republic of Ghana, it's a different scenario altogether. So I think that that's the discussion we should be having, that as a country, before someone is appointed to very important head of an organ of government, what should be the considerations? And I think as a democratic country, as we show democracy, we should be having this conversation without any fear or favor.
Some will actually tell you that in this country, everybody is related to anybody or everybody at some point. So at some point, you would have someone who's related to you. If we should go by relations, then we probably wouldn't have people in positions at all. Have you considered that as a...
Well, that's a fair point to make. So are you saying that because you have that system, we shouldn't raise questions when we have to?
Okay.
People, I mean, it's better to raise these questions and put it up front so that people know that these things cannot be swept under the carpet. So yes, in Ghana, you cannot even use people's names to indicate who they are related to. That's fair. But at the same time, I think that we can't pretend that these are important issues as far as democratic consolidation and good governance are concerned.
Fair enough. I bet you'll be keeping an eye on the parliamentary process.
Of course. Of course.
Right.
That's our job. We in GIMPA, School of Public Service and Governance, we have the mandate to play an important role in the governance process of this country. And we have to make public comment and statement when these issues come up without any discrimination whatsoever.
Okay. Thank you very much, sir, for your time here on The Pulse. Dr. Lord Malco is a lecturer at GIMPA. He's with the School of Public Service and Governance there, raising concerns about the relationship between the potential Chief Justice and the President of the Republic. Well, you're still watching The Pulse with me, Gifty and Apiam.